Now, the death of the writer and civil rights activist Maya Angelou has coincided with the anniversary of one of the greatest landmarks in her generation's struggle for equality. It's 60 years since the US Supreme Court ruling in the case of Brown versus the Board of Education, which finally outlawed enforced racial segregation in American schools. But now there are signs that it could be making an unwelcome return. Our Washington correspondent Kylie Morris has been to the Alabama city of Tuscaloosa to see how segregation is returning to the Deep South.
Oh my God!
Hi, Ma! I made it!
Meet Central High School's class of 2014. 152 jubilant teenagers looking to the future, but shaped by the past. There are families, friends, teachers. The only people missing, the white students who by law should have shared their classrooms.
Tiana Biggs.
But this is Alabama, and 60 years after segregation was ruled unlawful by the courts, resegregation is on the rise. Black schools for black students, separate but equal, just like the old days when George Wallace was governor.
And I say segregation now, segregation tomorrow, and segregation forever.
Urging the governor to end his efforts to prevent 2 Negro students from registering at the university.
A short time after he gave that speech, George Wallace stood here in the rather grand entry to the University of Alabama and tried to prevent 2 African-American students from entering. Now, he lost. The following year, the Civil Rights Act was made law, and today in Alabama, there are no longer any all-white state schools. But without courts enforcing integration, segregation is again on the rise.
Slave owners always had the right to free their slaves.
History is going backwards for Central High School.
But horrible things happen in wartime.
It opened in 1979, a poster child for desegregation, when Tuscaloosa was forced to close its white and black high schools.
Doing all right, brother? All right, I'm doing all right. Pretty good to see you, brother. You doing good? 10-4.
Clarence Sutton is now the principal.
How you doing, sir? Doing good.
But in the 80s, he was a student at Central when black and white children were made to sit together.
Boom. I'm a girl there.
Diversity made us special, meaning you met people that was from different side of towns, different walks of life, different classification. You know, you would have a doctor's daughter, affluent in the same class with someone from my side of town, and we were getting government assistance. You see what they're doing. You see them studying, even in the summer. You see them coming to summer school not to catch up, but to get ahead. You see them reading novels. I mean, you're reading Crime and Punishment. I'm sitting there, wow. Somebody actually read that book, you know. Well, you see them do it, and you see them going to college, that make you say, okay, I need to do this.
It was a revelation after segregation.
You know, and I kind of show the kids this sometimes, you know, just the difference.
Clarence Sutton keeps old yearbooks on his desk to remind his students of what that was like.
I show them that the only black face in the yearbook was the kitchen and the custodians.
And what do they think when they see that?
It kind of makes history come to life.
When integration followed, it changed the fates of black students.
This school is integrated.
Among them, Principal Sutton.
This is Central, the kind of Central I went to when we were all just together.
And that's a real mix, isn't it?
Yes.
And this all matters because research shows black students from mixed schools were more likely to finish high school, to earn a degree, they made more money, they were less likely to spend time in jail, and they were healthier.
Once another race tend to be around another race, that will give them a different perspective.
Another student from that time, now a sports coach at the school, remembers how that experience changed his life.
We ended up having a football party over one of my white teammates' house. And once I went to his house, you know, that was my first time ever going to this neighborhood. And this house was so huge. I said, one day, I'm gonna have me a house just like this.
And what kind of a house do you live in now?
I live in a 3-story house.
Big house.
Yes, ma'am.
Housing plays a big part in the story of what's undone integration at Central. White flight followed desegregation, families moved out of the city and into the white picket suburbs in the county. In turn, the city waged a legal campaign to be released from desegregation and busing students to different schools. By the year 2000, it had won. And there was no more requirement to create a racial mix. Now there are only 2 white students in the whole school.
I never want race to be the issue, because then it will make my students feel inferior. If I ever say we need white students here for us to be successful, I've lost my students. So I never say I'm going to recruit this race, or, I just say we're going to recruit students. We want every student to think this is the best school for them. And that's how we attack the issue.
Clarence Sutton has become the principal of the school he loved, but can't offer his students the opportunities he had. Class president and prize athlete Delisha Dent, whose mother attended Central High when it was mixed, is not looking back. She's won a full track and field scholarship to a black college.
Well, as I've gone through high school, I wish that I would have had a white classmate, or I would have had a couple white friends.
You haven't had any white classmates?
No.
She'll attend an all-black college, and given the choice, she says she'll teach later in an all-black school.
I would teach them that don't be afraid to get out here in the world and do what you have to do and pursue your dreams. You don't have to be friends with the white guy. You can get out here and do it. And don't be intimidated. The only person that can stop you is yourself.
Delisha is a daughter of integration, but she's the granddaughter of segregation. From his porch, her grandfather James takes the long view. The school is all black, just like in his day, just what they'd meant to stop.
Sutton is really all black. That's where it was a long time ago. That's where we tried to stop. But now they did it, but everything reversed back like it was.
I am Delisha Dent, and it is my honor to be the president of the class of 2014.
There's no getting around the excitement, jubilation even, for every single student graduating. But back when their parents finished high school, the auditorium would have cheered for what Maya Angelou called America's rich tapestry. Even though desegregation worked here, it hasn't been allowed to continue, and the future must be all the more divided because of it. Kylie Morris, Channel 4 News, Tuscaloosa.